Trunks, Bulma, I do this for you. And yes, even for you, Kakarot.
And so, one of the Earth's greatest warriors has vanished in a blinding flash of light, having made the ultimate sacrifice for the sake of his loved ones. His name was Vegeta, a proud Saiyan prince.
We're all the protagonists of our own story, the main character. Our story is composed of many plots of all shapes and sizes. Deep down, we long to be like Superman or Spider-Man, but as we get older, things change, and we begin to realize we can't be a hero, but we can get pretty close. Enter the Antihero. Welcome everybody to Would You Like to Continue, an anthology episodic podcast series with your host Brandon Mercado. So today's episode, we're going to explore the concept of the anti-hero and what is that. I feel that's something that's been blowing up recently. You can see it all over in movies, shows, books, stories, and it's been something that's been with us, to be honest, throughout many, many years. But some of us viewed anti-heroes as something different. So let's unpack that a little bit more. What is an anti-hero? Well, according to the internet, an anti-hero is an essential character in a story, movie, or drama who lacks conventional heroic attributes. So I want to replace the word conventional with the word cultural. I feel like it fits it better when describing an anti-hero because our culture influences our perspective. Our culture is our lifestyle, and the culture can be as big as a people group down to a home, right? In my Hispanic culture, it is rude to walk into your house and not say hi to everyone. The dog, the cat, the grandma, the mom, like everybody, right? The appliances, I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. And so, but then there's people who it's not rude to do so. They think, oh, they just want their privacy, or, oh, okay, I heard them come in, so they don't need to say hello. So different perspectives, different opinions on what's morally good versus what is morally bad. Opinions are true for some people, and that's something that we just gotta navigate through. So what are heroic attributes? The answer changes again depending on who you ask. Here are some heroic attributes that I perceive to be true. Your list may look different. You may take out some words, you may replace some words, or this may just be your list. So here are some heroic attributes. Bravery, merciful, selflessness, intellectual, strong, respectful, honorable, caring. I'll say that again. Brave, merciful, selfless, intellectual, strong, respectful, honorable, and caring. I feel like those attributes, those characteristics, come together to make a hero. And not all heroes have all of these things, and not all of these heroes hit them to the T, okay? And so an anti-hero can range from the lacking one of these attributes to lacking most of them, with the addition of bad habits and character flaws. See, a hero is no way perfect, but they are good. That is what we see heroes are. We see a hero, and it automatically gives us a positive connotation, unless you're a person who's experienced some type of hurt, some type of trauma, or some type of experience that has influenced you to have a negative perspective towards anyone who walks around with the title of hero. Okay? And so a hero, they don't always save the day. They aren't always happy. They are, however, an ideal to strive for. I mentioned earlier about Superman and Spider-Man. I feel like Spider-Man is someone that we can really connect with because he's a young guy. He's young, and it's a coming-of-age story. That is Spider-Man's story, and he's a smart kid. And you get to see him get these superpowers and how he navigates throughout life being a superhero and the struggle of being a hero. Because it is hard being good. There is a struggle to doing the right thing every single time. And that within a way been explored in some comics and in some media versions of Superman, right? The big blue Boy Scout, right? This guy represents what a hero is, what a superhero is, never wavering. And a similar character would be Captain America. Again, heroic attributes are brave, merciful, selfless, intellectual, strong, respectful, honorable, and caring. But if one's definition of a hero ranges from another, why do most of us root for the anti-hero? Why do we relate with them the most? Even though Superman is my favorite hero, it's the concept that he struggles in being good that I'm more appealed by. That the fact that this guy can be a very serious supervillain, but instead chooses to use that power to do good. I find that to be very selfless and very, very honorable. And I give my props, even though he's not a real character, but you know what I'm saying. See, our brains are neuroplastic. Our senses take in the world and try to make sense of it, nurturing us, shaping us. Okay, neurologists see our brain as neuroplastic, and what they try to say is that our world around us shapes who we are on top of our genetics. Those things work together, but I believe the environment that we're nurtured in plus our personality has a major influence on the direction that we go, right? In the kind of people that we are. Antiheroes are broken individuals who are motivated by self-interest. They're broken individuals who are motivated by self-interest. They have a questionable moral compass. But not all antiheroes are married to this definition. Some lean more towards the side of morally good, while others do not. The range of antiheroes are great and have been around for ages. Tales of antiheroes have surrounded all of us throughout time. Here's the list of few. Odysseus, Samson, Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name, Walter White, Dr. Bell from The Resident, Dr. Alex Karev from Grey's Anatomy, The Punisher, Deadpool, Zuko from The Avatar Last Airbender, Rick Sanchez, Joel from The Last of Us, Kratos from God of War, Sasuke Uchiha from Naruto, and Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. See, that's all over the place. And each of these people are anti-heroes, some leaning more towards morally good and some leaning more towards morally bad, and each of them at a different state throughout their character arc, right, throughout their story. There's been at least one person on this list that you sympathize with. Sympathy are feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. These anti-heroes have all gone through something that shows them to be who they are. From villain to anti-hero, or from hero to anti-hero, their personality, the world around them, made them who they are. Right? There's something that clicked. So for some characters, they may have just been neutral, just chilling, doing their thing, just going about life, right? Just not really focused on morality or what's right or what's wrong until someone does wrong to them, right? Someone attacks their family, comes after them, their loved ones, and something flips, and now they're filled with hate, revenge, humiliation, pride, whatever it may be, that starts shaping their course, right? The direction of where they're heading in being, a person. And so they go from becoming neutral to anti-hero to villain, or maybe something more like hero to anti-hero to neutral. Like, it's just this shift of things, right? They just go one way or the other based off of what they believe and what they feel. Their personality plus the world around them makes them who they are. Again, the personality plus the world around them makes them who they are. I believe it's only natural to be an anti-hero. Made in the image of God, God said that we're good. He made Adam and Eve, and he said they're good. And he blessed them with the Garden of Eden, and he told them, do anything you want, just don't eat from this tree. Right? He didn't give them no 10 commandments or anything. It was just don't eat from the tree, because the tree was a knowledge of good and evil. And they already knew what good was because they were experiencing good. But they didn't know what evil was because they'd never experienced evil. So when they ate from that tree, sin had now entered their design, right? Giving them a sinful nature. And with that being said, we're born in this world with a sinful nature. Some kids, man, they are just ruthless. They're just thugs. These kids can just be very aggressive and very mean, while other kids can come off very sweet and innocent. And some kids, man, they're flipping this coin. They're like, okay, what is landing on today? Oh, being good? I'm being good today. Flips the coin. Up, I'm going to be a pain in the butt to my mom or dad or to whoever, and it's crazy. So as a child, we were more ignorant and innocent, but depending on where we were raised, who hurt us, who loved us, who our biological parents are, that influences our direction. That influences our brain. Remember, our brain is neuroplastic. It influences who we are. At one point or another, we are, or we were, an anti-hero. But why? Why can't we be perfect? Why can't we overcome our bad habits? Why do we keep failing over and over again? Why do we have so much anger? Why do we feel with so much sadness and confusion? These are questions I believe some of us, if not all of us, have asked at different points in our lives. Maybe some of us have avoided asking these questions because we're afraid of the result. The character arcs of an anti-hero usually consist of dealing with the challenges within. To explain this, I want to focus on a character from the list that I mentioned earlier. And I want to focus on the character known as Vegeta. Vegeta is from a manga/anime series known as Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, all that fun stuff. Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super. And see, Vegeta, he started off as a villain to the primary protagonist, Goku, right? And he was an obstacle that Goku had to learn to overcome because he was threatening Goku's planet, his family, all that Goku believed in, right? And Vegeta lost, right, as most villains tend to. And Vegeta was a guy who he was started off as a villain, but over the course of time, he started developing heroic attributes, whether they were with the wrong intentions behind it, right? He performed heroic feats, saving people, helping people out, but it was not with the right interest in mind. And it's funny because there's multiple scenes where he'll do something good and someone will applaud him, and then shortly after he'll do a jerk move, right? Just hurting him, hitting him, being stupid. And so you can tell throughout Vegeta's character arc that he struggled, right? That he was struggling with the fact that he was adopting heroic beliefs, heroic attitude. Making someone an anti-hero is by making the villains around them worse and less likable than the anti-hero. And you can see this, right? Someone worse than Vegeta steps in, and that's Frieza. And this villain has done wrong towards Vegeta. So now Vegeta, it just so happens that saving Namek and saving the Z Fighters, these people around him, just coincides with him getting revenge and avenging his whole race, his whole people group, because they were annihilated by this new villain known as Frieza. Multiple arcs again show the struggle of Vegeta because he's not really the one to be the protagonist. He struggles in winning and having plot armor on his side. Every time he thinks he's gotten strong enough, Goku beats him in the power scale, and it just feeds and feeds the confliction, pulling him again towards the villainous side. And this is especially shown in the Buu Saga. One of my favorite fight scenes from Dragon Ball Z is Super Saiyan 2 Goku versus Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. And in it, Vegeta has this little monologue where he reflects back on all these moments and incidents where Goku really gets under his skin, where he's humiliated over and over again, and that he tries to be the strongest, try to be the most powerful, but he still comes second. And he allows, right, even though you see him turning good, he flips the script when he sees the opportunity to gain more power at the cost of his morality. But it was, again, all for show because his morally good side was starting to rise up again, overpowering the evil within, where he goes ahead and sacrifices himself. And he says it. He says who he's doing it for. He's doing it for his wife, for his son, and for Goku, his main adversary. And that takes a lot of humility, which makes sense because this guy got humbled many times. So somewhere along the line, Vegeta crossed it. Somewhere along the line, Vegeta crossed it. So what's the line? The line that distinguishes anti-heroes and heroes is getting blurred in today's culture. We root for the anti-hero more than the hero. We applaud and respect the anti-hero. I believe this is so because of a certain scripture found in 2 Timothy chapter 3. And I'm going to read the Message version because it's a little bit more raw and savage. And I love it because it doesn't hold back any punches and doesn't sugarcoat the truth. Difficult times ahead. Don't be naive. There are difficult times ahead as the end approaches. People are going to be self-absorbed, money-hungry, self-promoting, stuck-up, profane, contemptuous of parents. Crude, coarse, dog-eat-dog, unbending, slanderous, impulsively wild, savage, clinical, treacherous, ruthless, bloated windbags, addicted to lust and allergic to God. They'll make a show of religion, but behind the scenes they're animals. Stay clear of these people. These are the kind of people who smooth talk themselves into the homes of unstable and needy women and take advantage of them. Women who, depressed by their sinfulness, take up with every new religious fad that calls itself truth. They get exploited every time and never really learn. These men are like those old Egyptian frauds, Jans and Jambres, who challenged Moses. They were rejects from the faith, twisted in their thinking, defying truth itself. Nothing will come of these latest imposters. Everyone will see through them, just as people saw through that Egyptian hoax. The chapter goes on with an encouraging word. See, 2 Timothy is a letter written out to Timothy by a man named Paul. See, Paul was an anti-hero. He had the right intentions. This man said he loved God and pretty much was about it. He was all about worshiping him and doing the right thing. But anyone that had a perspective on God that was slightly different from what he was taught, he would kill them. That's pretty extreme. He would go that far and stone them and beat them to death. He would host these stonings of Christians, right? Because he was like, no, Judaism is the way to go. The Messiah has not come yet. Jesus Christ is a fraud. But when God struck him off a donkey he was riding, right? So this dude basically got in a motorcycle accident. And in that moment, God revealed himself to him. And that's when he knew, like, no, I've been wrong all this time. And so he wanted to be the hero. In his eyes, he was the hero. But in the world's eyes, in God's eyes, he saw him as an anti-hero. Someone with the right intentions, just going the wrong way. I believe in the past, people were afraid of anti-heroes. They feared how human they were, shattering their belief that they were good, morally right, and higher class. The fact media has made anti-heroes seem so human means that we can easily become them. It means we are them. We desire revenge. At times, we want to dive headfirst into our lustful fantasies. And there's people like that still today who are like, no, very shunful towards tattoos. And tattoos doesn't make you an anti-hero, but they have all these convictions towards everything, and they try to make everything down to what color hanger you use to sin. I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. Like, there's people out there, and some of them are parents, grandparents, and there's people who mean well. But again, they're hypocritical because at the end, they're pretty much anti-heroes themselves. Christians who still believe themselves to be righteous are typically the same ones that want everyone to be heroes and get upset when others aren't, unrealistically wanting others to be perfect. They may say, I want them to be perfect, but their behavior and reactions towards others show otherwise. In reality, they're hypocritical and judgmental. In reality, they too are anti-heroes. We're all anti-heroes. We're all the protagonists of our story, the main character of our own story. We have our own character arcs and our stories divided into seasons. Today's culture is attracted to anti-heroes because they're more real. They're authentic and raw. I mentioned the fear that anti-heroes bring, but what about the hope? Okay, what about the hope? I think they make us hopeful. If someone with issues and bad habits, such as these anti-heroes, can be the hero, then we can too with all our mess, right? If Deadpool has a potty mouth and just does some questionably sexually immoral things, right? But he still saves people and still tries to make people smile, right? And be seen as a hero, then maybe we can. If kids want to dress up as Deadpool for Halloween, then maybe they want to be like their dads, right? Who don't have it all together. If people want to do the right thing, right? But they just have these bad habits, there's still hope for them too. This is especially shown in the Bible. There are biblical anti-heroes. The Bible's filled with them, to be honest. The Bible's filled with anti-heroes. Throughout Scripture, God uses men and women who aren't ideal candidates for the Justice League. Noah, he got drunk after he built the ark and saved the people that followed through. Jephthah, he was misunderstanding God. This man fought battles for the Lord, talked to him, praised him, and worshipped him, but he didn't understand the character of God, and the way he went about worshiping him was more like pagan gods that were served around him. This dude sacrificed his own daughter for God, and God doesn't want human sacrifice. He cares more about obedience than sacrifice at that. Samson, he was fake until the end. The man rocked a long mane, right, representing the Nazirite vow, that he didn't drink, he wasn't near dead things, right, he didn't put tattoos, all that stuff. And yet he broke every rule in the book pretty much. Hanging around dead stuff, drinking around, getting, like, just sleeping around, just being stupid. But he had to keep up his appearance with that hair, right? Because anyone that was seen with that hair was known to be someone of high morality. And at the very end, he was tricked by his lustful and greedy desires, but he redeemed himself last minute. He went ahead, asked God for forgiveness, and asked him to give him the strength to do another victory in the name of God and not in the name of Samson. David, King David, highly respected, man who killed a giant, phenomenal king, but to be honest, he probably wasn't the best father. If you look deeper into David's story, you can see the situations that happened with him and his children. Even beyond that, you can see his relationship with this woman named Bathsheba. I wonder if that's where we got the name bathtubs from. Again, our perspectives and definition towards the word anti-hero ranges, right? Many of us see anti-heroes as heroes. As I mentioned today, in today's culture, things have changed. What we saw as evil way back when is now entertaining us, is now being seen as good, as okay, as normal. But just because something's normal doesn't make it a good thing. And I know there's people out there who find themselves to be more moral than the next person, but you gotta understand too, you have sin in you. You can be prideful, you could be stuck up, you could be selfish, right? You could be a coward, you could be stupid, you could be disrespectful and dishonorable and not caring at all. We have our moments because of our sinful nature, meeting a real need the wrong way, getting frustrated and upset at trying to do the good thing, the right thing, over and over again when people keep doing wrong to us. And they make it look so easy to be evil, to be wrong, to be the villain, so we can have a little edge to our heroic attributes. We can have a little edge to the way we go about things. In the end, God can use anyone, not as an object, but as beloved children, participating in supernatural feats and acts to change the world for the better and to save lives, to perform heroic acts, even if we're all just anti-heroes. Now, knowing that you're an anti-hero, would you like to continue?